How to know the difference between good and bad people. Okay, so I came to the understanding like when I was with a friend of mine a couple years ago, when I was with an old friend of mine from some years back. An Aquarius said something to me that I now reflect on and I balance it out in perspective. He said, when you stop thinking you know, your whole life will change. And the truth in that is that, especially when I go towards my North Node in Scorpio, Spirit told me one of the best things the best things you can go from when you go from the material tour to the spiritual Scorpion or the mystic Scorpion is you want to walk into, because you're walking into the unknown a lot. So, so you wanna sorry, I was just thinking about astrology real quick, sorry. Uh you wanna understand the power of understanding what you don't know. So it's not that I didn't know. A lot of the times I moved from my inner knowing. What I was naive about was human nature. So when you how to know the difference in good and bad people is like this. For instance, this person put like a spell and stuff like that on my friend and all that other stuff, and she had a problem for years getting it off of her and all that other stuff. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt from a human nature perspective because she wasn't evil. She just had a agenda. Just the difference. The difference between somebody who has an agenda and somebody who's evil. A lot of times, I think most humans are good, but they have agendas for their own personalities. So depending on where they're coming from, especially where they're taught and where their confidence is, so 'cause I think agenda is also serving, it's also serving beliefs, thoughts, feelings, what you were taught, emotions, etc., etc. So when those things are negative, they come off as evil. Now, of course, one of the things you want to detach from is like I kind of take a Neville Goddard perspective from it, of detaching the man from their state. So their state, meaning their way of being. So the person may not, like my parents gave me the option to leave and be homeless, or to get a job and stay home with them. They're not evil. It's just their agenda did not serve mine. And I wasn't wise enough in human nature, or I wasn't listening to myself when it came to my inner knowing about human nature, to really follow it as much as possible. Because I do believe in high intuition. Because I feel like I told my friend, there's a difference between inner knowledge and knowledge. Because inner knowledge, there's a difference between inner knowing and knowledge. So inner knowing comes from a divine space. It comes from a space unseen. It often comes from a lot of my knowledge is inner insight, or there's a difference between insight and there's a difference inner knowing with insight and parentheses insight and knowledge. Knowledge can be based on an experiment of the inside and outside world. Inner knowing comes from the understanding of something that you probably cannot see, and you just know it to be right, or you know it to be wrong. So you need to come to a thorough understanding that you need to, when you, especially when you're walking into certain signs, like when it comes to South Node to North Node, whether you're coming from Capricorn to Taurus, if you're coming from Capricorn to Cancer, you're going to Cancer, you're going from Virgo to Pisces. Those are all both spiritual, very spiritual people, in the sense that they come from emotions first, physical after. You're going from Taurus to Scorpio. You're going from Sagittarius to Gemini. Believe it or not, Sagittarius are more materialistic than the Gemini. The Gemini, after they mature, can be, yes, they like to keep up with the Joneses, but they like to be very simple, at most, for the most part. The Sagittarius is more flamboyant and more about big things, big ideas, and all this other stuff. If you're going from, if you're going from, let's say, what else? What other sign is there? Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, Pisces. If you're going from Aries to Libra, Libra is more spiritual than the Aries per se. If you're going from Leo to Aquarius, Aquarius is, forget about it. They're more spiritual and they're more mental creatures than anything in the world. You're going from you're going from yeah, that's about it with the 12 zodiac signs. So once you go into those spiritual signs, you have to walk into the understanding of I don't know. But there's a difference or lack of knowledge. That doesn't mean that you don't have inner knowing and inner understanding. It just means that you don't have the outside knowledge to validate what's going on. So you have to come from that thorough understanding of when you reach a place of I don't know, you have to have the hunger to go seek out that knowledge to know, because that is where your wealth's at when you're walking into those signs. So walk into the understanding, into the knowledge that you must go get it now that you do not know. Because when the signs are reversed, there you often I feel like there's going to be an abundance of knowledge there for you or presented to you or opportunities presented to you to know this knowledge more availably than the opposite way around. The opposite way around, it's not that you don't have to seek it. Well, maybe another you always have to seek it, but with the Taurus, because the Taurus is about it naturally. The Taurus is about the material naturally. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, there's a different when you to discern the good and bad people. When you walk into understanding, you have to know psychology. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to detach the person from, and if you listen to people like Robert Greene, who I was watching, who this video was inspired by, him and Ty Lopez, because I was watching their separate videos on impact theory, because one is Aries, Ty Lopez, and Taurus, Robert Greene. So I'm a cusp, so I'm an Aries Taurus cusp. So they both inspired the power in me to power cusp in me to understand this train of thought. So I would definitely tell you to when discerning good and bad people, watch their agenda, meaning watch the results of their behavior, not just their inner. Of course, their inner thoughts are very very important, but this is where I disagree with Robert Greene. I think because he's coming from a white man's perspective, so that's why he says what he says. I think you have to balance out the deep depth of human nature, but also the energetic understanding of fear, sensing it before it happens. So that's why he kind of denounced it. He said, "Well, that's kind of outdated." It's not. It's just that you have to know how to use it. Most people don't, so he's not gonna get into that per se because that's not his perspective. But again, he's white, so I don't really expect him to understand that knowledge. And I just want to say white people don't understand that knowledge. It's just that that's not their origin per se. Now, of course, white people are connected to source, but I don't believe they're connected to source how we are as melanated people. They've learned out their shit from us. At the end of the day, so like I said, that's my perspective on it. But to know the difference between good and bad people, you have to detach the beingness to the agenda, the behavior from the person. Because the person, because I'll never forget this quote. I think it said something to this about effect. Every person is right in their perspective. So if every person is right in their perspective, that means everybody's doing good. It's just that their agenda is to do X, Y, and Z according to what they think is good. So when my parents gave me the option to leave, that's what they thought was good. So that's why when I saw a young a oracle say to label what somebody did to you as demonic is not wise. He was right, but again, they can be connected to source as well. But again, I still just don't. We are the most divine. But anyway, they come to the he said it to label it as demonic is is uh is unwise because it could have been an angel working in your favor. You feel what I'm saying? So that means you have to detach the human, the vessel, from the state of being.